Honestly, I don't believe in quarterly performance reviews. You should have bi-weeklies or weekly reviews and manage your employees' performance in those bi-weeklies. But I can well imagine that these quarterly performance reviews are basically forced on you by your company. Thus, in this video, I will help you make the best out of them by providing you with the perfect template for quarterly one-on-one performance review meetings, including 7 tips on how to facilitate your session like a real pro. Alright, let's start with the template. And yes, of course, you can also download this if you want. So the first question is a warm-up question. How was your last quarter in your view on a scale from 1 to 10? So I do like to ask for numbers because then you'll be better able to compare trends over time of the mood of your employee. And this is the moment where I have to recommend the Echometer software for one-on-one meetings because it helps you to do this in a very structured way. So let's say this is the question, looking at the last weeks, I'm satisfied with my job. And then the employee can give a reply from 1 to 7 in this case here. And now if I click on history, I can even see this mood trend over time of this employee, plus some context if I wrote down notes, which is really, really handy. And of course, if I want to, I can even get some fancy dashboards that help me to visualize the whole team if I want to. Okay, let's get back to our template. The first basically big part would be that you talk about the successes, about positive things with your employee, which leads me to the first tip. You should try to lead by asking questions. I mean, yes, you could say your performance is bad, but it is so much smarter to ask, how are you feeling about your performance? This triggers self-reflection and even makes the conversation easier for you. So which questions should you ask? Let's have a look. The first question is, what were your biggest successes in the last quarter? As I said, it makes sense to start with a positive vibe here. Then the next question is, looking at your goals, where are you at the moment? And I added a little hashtag here, KPIs, which leads me to my next tip. You should try to talk about actual data. Let your employee go into the project management software tool and check what they actually worked on. And you can obviously do the same if you want. In case you have metrics and KPIs, definitely take them into account. I mean, after double checking that they have something to do with your employee's performance, of course, because looking at data will make your qualitative reflections way more valuable. Okay, and then the next question is another smart trick actually. What did you learn in the last quarter? Which skills did you develop that could help me or the team? This question makes your employee aware of the fact that they actually learned something, and this would be tip number 3, it lets them teach you something. Letting them think about what could even be valuable for you by adding this last part of the question might give them a little confidence boost and shows that you, even as a manager, are still learning. The next question is the following. How satisfied are you with your personal development in the last few months? So it really focuses on this part here. All right, the next agenda point is topics of direct report. So the idea here is that you simply give some space to the employee. Whatever they might have a topic, this is the place to talk about it. Okay, let's continue. The next point is challenges and support. Before talking about the challenges, start by explaining your current challenges and things that you're struggling with. Because by signaling even you are not perfect, you are increasing the psychological safety of your employee and thus the chance that they open up about their actual blockers. And then you can ask the actual questions, which would be in this case, what obstacles have you faced? And you can of course rephrase it, so what blockers have you faced, or potentially also where did you waste your energy? And then the question, are there any resources or support that you need, which might directly lead to some action items here. And the next agenda point is development and goals, which leads me to my next tip. Especially if the performance of your employee is medium or rather bad, focus on the future. Let the past behind, because every new quarter is a new opportunity and you shouldn't focus on the past with your questions. Rather ask the following questions. First one is, are there any new skills you'd like to develop? Next question, how do your priorities align with the team's tasks? This could also be, how do they align with the company vision, for example, so you can really zoom out here. Next question, what are your core goals for the next quarter? And how can I help you move towards your career goals? Once again, at the end, really focusing on action items that you could potentially put down here. The last big agenda point is really focusing on feedback once again. I mean, I suppose this is the most obvious thing, but before the meeting, you have to collect the topics that you want to give as feedback. And once your employee reflects on them with your questions, you can bring them up. And in case you are not able to bring up the feedbacks you have until this point, this is your reminder to bring them up. So, as I said, simple reminder, things we didn't talk about, You can talk about them here. And then, of course, what can I do better to lead you and or the team? Which leads me to my next tip. Yes, you as a manager should set a good example and ask for feedback, obviously. Remember, you are not perfect too, and you should signal this to your employee. Okay, let's come to the last part, which is the closing. Let's summarize the tasks we wrote down from this meeting. This is my tip number 7. Write down the things that you want to follow up on next time and share them with the employee. And for the overperformers out there, in the one-on-one meeting software Echometer, you will get an auto AI summary of your meeting, which looks like this. And you can then add the automatically created tasks to the task board here on the right to have a great overview. I definitely recommend to have a look at our one-on-one meeting software. It will make it way easier for you to optimize the performance of your team members. There's a link to the software right below this video, and there's also a link to the template that you are seeing here, so you can just click here and then copy the template to wherever you want. Now, what if you are having these quarterly one-on-one performance reviews, but the team performance is still stagnating? I guess in that case, you're experiencing what we call a team performance leak. Here on the left, you can see some parts of the team performance leak map that we've developed. This map is about optimizing your team as a system, and it might help you understand what to do to push team performance to a 10 out of 10 in a healthy and sustainable way. If you want to learn how to plug the team performance leak, well, you have to check out our channel and obviously subscribe to it.